Okay, so removing rear brake pads, probably the easiest job ever you're gonna do. So what you need a punch, probably small size, and you're gonna see there are two pins over here. There's one pin here and here that's holding the brake pads. So just need to knock them out. So you don't need to knock them all the way, because what's holding them is just a little expansion. So push this thing back and you just remove this pin. Then you can, pin comes out, and that spring. Remember which way you had the spring in, so it goes like this. Now there's one. Helps a little bit if you push on a caliper. This way it compresses, or you can insert your screwdriver and just give it a little turn and it will release. Okay, so surprisingly the rear brake pads are still good. They look almost new to me, and I'll change them anyway, since I already have a set. I'll change them. Okay, so that for the brake pads. Now, in order to remove the brake disc, we need to remove two bolts in the back that hold the caliper in place, and those are M17 heads. Can't really really use a socket because it's a little bit tight, so I'll just use that to loosen it up. See, this arm is in the way. Okay, so I got the caliper off. In this case, you can leave it hanging on a hose. Usually it's not a good idea, especially for the front, if the hose is kinked or the caliper is really heavy. In the back, it's not the case. You can I leave it hanging. It's okay. So now, to remove the caliper, you need to remove this little screw, and then I'm gonna pull the brake disc off. Okay, so now we're gonna pull this screw out. It's an M5 hex, so put it in, and what I usually do If you know the thread is rusted, I just take a hammer, insert it, and I give it 1 or 2 little hits. Just breaks the rust, and after that it just comes out easy. Looks like still original. You see the black, the blue Loctite is still there. This car has like 150,000, and I don't think they ever changed the, well, obviously the brake disc had never been changed. I'm not sure about the brake pads though, but I guess who cares. Okay, now the thing's supposed to come out easy, but since it's been a while, it's probably rusted around, so it's not gonna be easy to come out. So it's gonna need some persuasion, and usually just very important, when you try and do that, release the park brake, because the park brake goes on the inside, the 2 park brake shoes. So if you have the park brake set, you won't be able to remove the thing, so don't forget to do that. Don't hit too hard on this part, because you might break it. I mean, it's not a big deal if you're replacing it, but if you're trying just to remove to inspect the brakes, careful. Okay, you need to have some access. Okay, so now we got it going. So it broke. I guess we just broke the rust around here. Now we just need to pull it off. Okay, so now we can inspect the park brake pad, and you can see that they do need to be replaced sometime. You can see the 2 grooves. Let's see if I can get closer. Right now you can see the 2 grooves that are in there. So a good idea would be take and replace them, but since I don't have them, I'm gonna have to try and fix it a bit and just have them back. Now this, you can see the damage on the inside. The face is not even. There are 2 deep grooves from the brake shoe. Okay, not a big deal. Maybe eventually I'll buy and I'll put a new pair, but for now I'll just take a file and just file this all flat. That's pretty much it for removing the brake disc. Now let's just try and fix it. So use a file. Okay, so it took me a little bit of time, but what I've done, I've taken a file and I just cleaned up this park braking pads. Just took off the high spots. There's still plenty of material left, so I don't see the reason why I should change it. So I've done that. Now one thing to note, putting the new brake discs, that since there's more material now on the inside of the surface here with the park brake shoes riding, so you need to reverse this I don't know, I guess it's expander. What it is basically a nut with some that has some thread, so when you turn it one way or another, you either extend it or retract it. So what I've done, I've retracted it completely, and so now when I put that on top, I want to make sure that it's not binding, and also go to the brake pedal and apply the brake pedal, make sure that it's not dropping all the way down. So I got kind of lucky, and with the minimum setting, I think I have enough clearance for that brake shoe there. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And if I apply the park brake pedal, so make sure you have the brake discs on, and when you apply the brake pedal, I got 1, and if I really press hard, I can get a 2 and 3. So that's kind of okay. I think I'll get some wear, so I should be okay. Okay, so now that we have this installed, we're gonna tighten all the screws and install the brake pads. So we just move it back a bit. Okay, so we need to line up this little retaining screw, and I think the hole is over here. So put it on like that. The screw, we're gonna apply some Loctite, just a drop, and put it in. And tighten. And unfortunately my computer crashed completely, so I don't have access to the manual to look up what torques I have to apply. So I'm just gonna go as good and tight. Okay, that's the brake caliper. Now I'm just gonna need clean it up a bit. Okay, now I just take this. Actually, you know what? Let's do it the proper way. So let's install the brake caliper back, and then we're gonna install the brake pads. So Loctite, don't forget Loctite on these screws. Okay, got everything nice and tight. So now we're gonna insert the brake pads, and I'm gonna put a bit of grease on the back. Just prevents squeaking. Okay, so one goes. Now you might need to take a screwdriver, insert it inside, and just push the caliper back, since you're inserting new pads. Okay, so now that should fit in easily. Okay, you need to spread a little bit more. Okay, now they fit. And this one on this side. Okay. This one has something on top. You just need to clean it up. Some of the glue is stuck on top there. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna put the spring. Just give it a little. Okay, so the spring goes this way, and what it does, it just basically pushes on this on the brake pads so they wouldn't fall out. And then you take the pin and insert it from the back. and then you need to line them up. Because if you insert them too far, so it lines up, and you put the spring in. Okay, just give it a little knock to compress that little expansion ring on the back, and then we'll push it in. Now we insert the second pin. Okay, need to push the spring in. Have a little screwdriver, just push on the spring. Now I just take a punch from the back to insert it completely in. So that's pretty much it for the rear brake pads installation and replacement.